Alrighty then, it's time for a Jungle Maokai game. Let's get this show on the road. Which one? And I quite like this one. It gets to showcase a lot of Maokai's strengths. Now look at their team comp and mine. My team comp lacks quite a bit of things, and I kind of was struggling to figure out who I should pick. I needed AP, but we also needed a tankier front line and someone who could initiate. I could have considered Zac, but Zac is sort of like a long distance initiator, and aside from maybe Yasuo, we won't really be able to follow that up. So I needed someone who was more mid-rangey, who could still initiate, who could disengage, who was AP and could help Yasuo get his ultimate off. And also, among other things, well, I'll talk about that after this gank here. Hecarim turns on me, and you're going to see this a lot, where the Hecarim severely underestimates the dueling potential of Maokai, mostly thanks to my passive. So I control him, and I, burn my flash, and we end up killing him. I die too, but, first blood on Yasuo is pretty good. So I knew we would be able to kill the Hecarim rather easily, because he's got Ignite instead of Flash. Unfortunately, Yasuo dies too, so it's just kind of made the whole thing moot. Anyways, Maokai's strength, one that used to be much more prevalent in earlier seasons, but now is just sort of like a nice little commodity. He has quite a bit of indirect jungle control, or I mean distance jungle control. I could just throw my babies everywhere and they can give me vision. They can give me, at least for 30 seconds, give me vision to keep track of the enemy jungler if he trips one, that kind of stuff. It's pretty good. You're mostly just a mobile champion throwing your babies around. It deters opponents from jumping at you because they don't know if you've set things up. Essentially put, it's a pretty good tool. And using it against a jungler who's going to be trying to gank a lot is pretty useful. Not as extremely overwhelming as it was before, but it can still make a difference every now and then. So you'll see the Hecarim be mostly controlled and whatnot. And on the same side, I'm being super aggressive with my ganks. Like here, using the plant to go kill the Nami, but you're going to notice one really sad thing. I do have an extremely weak Ezreal, by the way. You got to love how I use my W to track on that, Caitlyn. If there's one thing that's extremely powerful of Maokai and overwhelmingly potentially overpowered is his W. Debatably, one of the most powerful ganking tools in the game. Honestly, yeah, it is one of the most powerful ganking tools, though if it's in the top 5 or high, what other abilities are equal or better to it, I think as a ganking tool, the only thing that comes close to matching it is Pantheon's, but Pantheon isn't all that great of a jungler, so attaching this to Maokai is really damn good. Anyways, yeah, right now the game is rather even. And mostly things that are happening, things are only happening for my team if I get directly involved. And that's worrying me because my bottom lane is suffering quite a bit. And if I cannot get my bottom lane to, get fed or get bigger or whatever, my team is going to fall apart. Because I can't really rely on Yorick to do very much in team fights or follow through on my stuff, so I gotta hope that bottom lane does well. Thankfully, the Zyra is pretty good. The Ezreal, no, he really is not. Well, you can already tell by the CS difference is pretty bad. And Ezreal has been leading bottom lane into kind of losing their position or whatever. Here, I'm going to say I pulled off a really stupid maneuver. I didn't do that properly, so I lost a bit of damage, and I don't know if I would have been able to finish Caitlyn off, but I would have probably died even if I did kill her, so that was really stupid of me, so am I the Ezreal in that case? Nonetheless, Yorick is doing well. He's pushing top lane, alleviating pressure from, from everything else. The Aatrox is kind of forced to stay top lane in order to make sure it doesn't crumble. The Hecarim must kind of do something about it, and if he doesn't, they're going to get super punished. I go bottom lane again, because remember, I got to make sure bottom lane succeeds, or at least doesn't continue to crumble, because I feel the only real threat they have on their team is the Caitlyn. I mean, Katarina is obviously a threat, and the Aatrox can be too, but I feel I can control the Katarina, and the Hecarim, and if I can't check the Caitlyn, or if she doesn't die, she's just gonna, gun us all down rather easily. By the way, I love that. Hecarim you saw that obviously. You can rewind it if you want. As Hecarim's animation began, my W just pretty much intercepted him, and even though I think it's still a hit, it obviously didn't cause any CC effect on me, and by CC effect I mean knockback. So that was pretty cool. I love timing my W properly. Anyways, 12-9. We're in the bad situation right now. Again, mostly because of my bottom lane. and that is worrying me. Like I said, top lane is rather controlled. Mid is give or take right now. They're just kind of, killing each other. The Katarina is getting a little too cocky, so she got punished for that. So, this could be anyone's game so far. I go for Dragon to control that, then Zyra gets in a fight here, Ezreal comes in, and he pretty much gets annihilated, but he does manage to at least survive. But he lost a lot of health on that one. So you'll notice that so far with my Ezreal is where he engages a little too all in too many times without being really assured of what he's doing, and he gets punished for it. That's a problem when you're trying to play a sort of bodyguard game. If you're the person you're trying to guard is throwing their lives away. Anyways, Hecarim goes in, causes quite a bit of ruckus, but I think Yorick's wall actually stopped Katarina's ultimate. I am not able to really check too much. Go down bottom lane, I get, pelted by a lot of things, force the flashes out, get Caitlyn on with my ultimate, and then it doesn't matter because, I don't have enough damage and she's just really strong. And I die, Ezreal gets gunned down. That's my biggest fear here, that the Caitlyn is going to be way too strong and my Ezreal's no. Yorick goes in, but it was pretty much a bad idea. He gets almost killed by the Caitlyn. It's really brutal. Zyra goes in and gets a kill against her, so it kind of turned that around. But you can see, she's way more competent than my AD carry. So, best hope we can control her. That's what I've been thinking this entire game. 15 to 14, the CS is pretty close to each other. Hecarim, once again, so far I'm hoping you can see what his big issue is, the Hecarim. A little bit going in a little too early, so he kind of just gets punished. Though in this case it wasn't too much because with my team was extremely outnumbered and nobody really showed up in time, so we all kind of just staggered into our deaths to the meat grinder, so to speak. So, yeah, bad tidings so far. My item build, well, my item build is a little bit, not a little bit different than what I build, but a little bit different than what apparently, the websites suggest. Going with the whole speedy build. Got to go in there, catch them, and hope I can place my ultimate in a way that grabs most of the enemy team comp. So hopefully the rest of my team, shoots, slashes, or whatever. I'm mostly at this point now playing for hopefully the Yasuo being able to dice the enemy team. He is big enough to do so. So I have to be able to get in there, control the Katarina and the Caitlyn, and prevent the Hecarim from doing something. That's a tall order for me. But it can be done, especially because I have this Zyra backing me up. Basically, tree people or plant people right now are carrying this game. This Zyra is, for better or worse, kind of the one of my backup MVP here. So once again, protecting the dragon. Hecarim, again, tries to go in, but I can control him rather easily. He basically has no other forms of initiating other than using his face. And as a result of that, because of his really lackluster attempt at initiating, he got killed, and it led to the death of the Caitlyn and the Nami, and now we can push. Again, I don't have confidence in the enemy Hecarim's ability to do very much. And Maokai, or pretty much any champion with really fast crowd control, would have been able to punish him because he didn't take anything but Ignite. Unfortunately, the Katarina punishes the Ezreal and my other teammate, and now we're forced to retreat, 21 to 21. Again, extremely close. Map control-wise so far, nobody, not even the enemy team, has any real control. So it's kind of grim. Hecarim gets a really bad initiation. My ultimate discourages them from continuing, and just the fight sort of disengages in that point. So now, once again, both teams are a little bit on the defensive. Zyra gets picked off. She was warding, or trying to ward, and it was unfortunate that she got killed. The enemy team is going for the Baron, but I think this is an extreme mistake. Because, again, they don't have the means of killing it really quickly. And now they're putting themselves in a position in which they are so trapped. Nami's ultimate is extremely bad, and I'm just able to go waltz in there, grab the Caitlyn, cause a huge disarray. They focused me initially, which I just absorbed a ton of damage. The Yasuo did die, but he did quite a bit of damage, enough for the rest of my teammates to finally catch up and start melting them. So we turned that around. Well, not exactly turned it around. The enemy team just sort of fed themselves to us in a platter. And now for one of the more funnier moments of this game. So the Hecarim runs away for his life. I try to, I'm going to stop the minion wave from coming in to reinforce it so we can try to take this tower. And then the Hecarim is like, you know who's weak? Maokai. He comes in, does all his shenanigans. I cast all my spells to get my passive back up, and then Zyra comes in and kills him. I think I probably would have killed him even without her help. But damn, like, if this Hecarim happens to be watching this, patience is very helpful. And understanding or respecting your opponent is pretty good too. So, yeah, the Hecarim, unfortunately for him, for however much farm he has, and I can't really say he might not be a good player. I don't think he is too familiar with Maokai, and I'm basically controlling him really easily, pretty much nullifying any of his potential. Here once again he's trying to charge in, and as soon as I get close, W on him. He's pretty much disengaged for a long time, and then he makes a desperate charge to Dragon, doesn't get it. And then obviously he's just gonna die right after. I use the plant to survive, so pretty sour trade for him. And again, I think I tilted him off the face of the earth because by grabbing him, preventing his initial initiation, it just ground him. It just forced him to become desperate to use his ultimate. Here you can see me doing my very best, but I love it. Once again, W to dodge the Q, grab her and kill her instead. I think we do manage to catch Tsunami too, so we kill her off as well and proceed to push once again. I move back just to go back and heal. You can see my item build is kind of just a basic one, focusing on cooldown reduction and ability to initiate more than just absolute survival. Though obviously it keeps me survivability anyways. So yeah, cooldown reduction above all. I love this. Again, it's showcasing a lot of what Maokai can do. Just a mid-rangey, brute forcey initiator who can also bodyguard and just control somebody rather deeply. I love it. It was not that very often I get to use a tank as a pretty much counter to another tank. Here I wasn't able to stop the Hecarim, and he was able to get off a really good engage and kill off the Ezreal. But unfortunately for him, the Ezreal is not really that valuable a target anymore. So as a result, he gets killed, and Yasuo gets to run an absolute rampage on the enemy team and slaughter them. Once again, the Aatrox is like, wherever the hell he is. I think at this point he gave up on his team and just kind of decided to do whatever. I think he's probably one of the biggest reasons they lost, because he just, stopped giving a crap about the game. But yeah, now with Baron, the deal was sealed, essentially. It's still, the kill disparity isn't that high, and, they could still eke out a win because they got the champions for it, but they're in a really bad strait. And like I said, my Ezreal ain't all that good. Their Caitlyn is miles better, but she doesn't have the support that my teammate has from me and the Zyra. We're basically setting them all up to win, while the Caitlyn is kind of playing her own game. So I feel bad for her, because she honestly was wrecking the hell out of us. And we're like, even right now, you can see she is pelting us for a huge amount of damage. And she's turning this thing around by herself. We got off the inhibitor, we got a kill, and and we get another free kill here because Katarina decided to throw her life away. But yeah, the Caitlyn basically was able to stop that push. So props to her on that. But yeah. The Hecarim also keeps focusing on the wrong targets and essentially getting himself punished and killed. So it's just no bueno. Eventually, the Ezreal, no matter how bad he was in the early game, can just start pressing buttons and spamming them because cooldown reduction and the blue build, and look like he's doing well, or he was good all along. Because now his score is not going to reflect his poor performance in the early game, right? It's kind of just solo queue in a nutshell. That's why kill spreads across match histories tend to tell you a good story sometimes. But anyways, yeah, the enemy team at this point is done and buried. If even my Ezreal, the haphazard Ezreal, can do a lot of damage and destroy the enemy team, what hope did they have? And as a result, yeah, they lost. Good game, and it was a good showcase. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you liked this video, remember to give it a like. And if you aren't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. And if you are subscribed, make sure to hit the little bell up there somewhere so you actually get notifications to my videos, because YouTube and stuff.